Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Ancestral Family Living, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my family's weekly grocery haul from Aldi, the farmers market, and the produce stand for my family of 5. So just to start off, this is Roscoe. If you hear any barking, that's where it's coming from. So full disclosure, we had about like 2 to 3 shopping days to getting all this food. The farmers market was on Saturday. I couldn't get the meat picked up until today, which is Tuesday. I got all of this stuff minus the milk yesterday, which was Monday, and all of this stuff I got on Monday as well. So some of it's kind of been broken into. I tried to save what we could. I think I got everything out, but if I remember something, I'll just talk about it instead of going to pull it out. But basically we'll start over here. This was the only stuff that we got from the farmer's market this week. My husband went, we had a whole issue with our car and the car battery. So the farmer's market was on his way to get a new car battery. So he ended up stopping for me. So I told him either get 4 things of chicken eggs or 3 things and a quail egg. So this is what he had. He said he had 1 quail egg left. So I think I went over this in the last video, but he charges $4 for these and $5 for ungraded chicken eggs. These are he doesn't do any pesticides or anything with his produce or with his animals, with what they're eating, and their food's really clean. So I really like buying from him, and it's just $5 for the chicken eggs. So that in total was about $19. So this meat order, we still have, I ended up going through and just making a notes sheet on my phone to keep track of all the meat that we already have in the freezer. So this week was pretty skim when it comes to what we needed in regards to protein. So because I ordered online and I didn't pick this up from the farmer's market, they have a quantity limit when you order online. So I can only pick up 5 things of ground beef when I order online. So that's what I got. If I go to the farmer's market, they don't limit. They just kind of have what they have. They just bring their freezers with them, and you can just get how much you want. So if you've seen previous videos and I had more, that's why. And this is all grass-fed, grass-finished. They're actually the only people at the farmer's market who are grass-finished. A lot of them are grain-finished. And so there is a taste difference between a cow being grass-finished versus grain-finished. And there is a distinction too. So if you see something that just says grass-fed, but it doesn't say grass-finished, then there is a difference. It probably was finished on grain. So that's that for the ground beef. And this is mild pork sausage. I will make breakfast sausages in the morning, little patties for my boys. And so that's what I use this for. We used to buy them from Aldi, the breakfast sausages, and my children honestly love the ones from Aldi, but I didn't do myself a good favor, and I ended up looking at the ingredients and realized there's a lot of additives in the breakfast sausage from Aldi. So this was what my husband and I compromised on. And I think this is $8.75 a pound, and this is $8.25. I don't remember if I told you that or not. And so this is moving. The next one that we have kielbasa links. So the reason I normally get 2 of these a week, I already had 1 in my freezer, which is why I only picked up 1. Same with these. I would normally buy 2, but we already had a package in our deep freezer thanks to my handy dandy note sheet. I knew that, so I only picked up 1. And then this is chicken wings for my raw fed doggy over here. So it's 45 grams, I think, of bone that he needs a day. So basically I just have to cut a chicken wing in half. So it comes with 4 wings, but it'll actually last for 8 days because I cut each of the wings in half. And so that's for the dog. I think it's $7 a pound, but I don't know what so it would definitely, they charged me under 7, but I don't know what they specifically charged me for this. But I know overall this order was $66. So not too bad compared to previous weeks where it's $150. So that's always nice to keep that down. Okay, so that was one. We would have picked that up at the farmer's market if we had gone. So this was Peaceful Meadows. That's all of our protein. That's from their own separate vendor. So moving on, the milk, the cream, all of the produce stuff you see here. This is from I will call it the produce stand, but it's called Bountiful Blessings, but it's basically just like a oh my goodness, a family run produce stand that they sell like local farmed goods and whatnot. So they actually sell raw milk. So that's what these are. We live in North Carolina, so it is legal for the consumption of raw milk for pets in North Carolina. So as you see here, it says not for human consumption, it's a pet treat. So we drink milk made for dogs, but it's really good for us. There's a ton of health benefits with it, and I can speak just for myself. I used to have keratosis pilaris, like the red bumps on my skin, and just switching to drinking raw milk and drinking like bone broth in the morning, I was able to rid myself of that. So I'm a huge believer in the raw milk, and they also sell raw cream as well. They also say is a pet treat and not for human consumption, but like obviously you're not going to just give your dog some cream. So they do sell that. So one thing that I did learn though, because this lady, she actually ended up buying like a filtering process to make the milk separate from the cream, so she's able to sell both. But I was actually leaving my milk out and trying to skim off the cream off the top to make my own butter, and it was like overnight it seemed like it went from like actually having maybe like a fourth to a half a cup of cream on the top to like nothing. And so the lady was actually telling me that that's like why, is because she's now filtering out the cream to sell it separately. So there's still cream in the milk, but it's not as like dense as it was before. Now there is a farm that is actually closer to us than the produce stand is, that they sell their cow's milk for $9 a gallon instead of 10, which is this, and they do it in a glass jar, which I really like. So I'm thinking about starting to go to them, at least just having the lady's number, because basically, so I went shopping at the produce stand Monday, but they had ran out of all the raw milk. And when I came back this morning, they only had like maybe 4 or 5 gallons left. So I'm not sure if like the cows are like slowing down on their milk production or whatnot, but to me, with a family of 5, I also make our own like yogurt kefir. I can't be running out of milk. I and because it had been several days of us not having it. I was just like the timing of getting there and then being out. Because I know they used to say that they would get like 40 gallons delivered a day, but the guy, when I called him to see if it was there, said she only dropped off about 20. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that, or, hope all the animals are okay and everything, but I'm not sure. But so we were able to get milk. It is $10 a gallon, and this is $9. So just this in itself was almost $30 just for the cream and the milk. The potatoes, I think, are $1.59 per potato. These are 4 russets. I'm going to make mashed potatoes, something, just kind of have that as a side. I think there was something else. I think I was going to try and do like a breakfast hash. That's why I got some of those as well. Then we've got some Honeycrisp apples. My boys are big apple snackers. I'll wash these, and then I used to put these in like the bottom drawer so my kids could just grab them as they wanted to, but they've started just like taking a bite out of one and putting it back, or eating 2 bites and putting it back, and I just think that's really wasteful. So I've started putting these up higher, and now I'll just cut them into, my son says tooth-sized pieces, but it's bite-sized pieces, just for them to eat it and know that it's not actually going to waste. And I'll do that with their lunches too. I think they eat it better when it's the little chunks than when it's like a regular apple slice. And that is just like a tip for all the moms out there. If your kids stop eating something, just honestly just cut it a different way, and you'll be surprised at them like being re-interested in it all of a sudden. So moving on, we've got 3 onions. I'm not sure, I think this is a sweet onion, and these are a different type. I'm not sure what, but I think these were local, maybe not. Don't quote me on that. Maybe not. I don't know. And I also don't remember what the pricing is on that either, but I already had a couple onions. I just grabbed a couple more because, why not? I do a lot of cooking and we always need them. I grabbed 1 avocado. For my lunches, I'll do ground beef and rice, and sometimes I'll just throw an avocado on there. They just didn't have a lot, obviously, that were good, or they just had a bunch that were like really green, so I didn't want to have to wait a week for them to ripen up, so I only got 1. And then we got a bunch of bananas. I want to make banana bread at some point, which was why I picked those up. And then if I don't get to making them in time, we'll freeze them for smoothies or just eat them as is. My boys, they found my stash of frozen bananas in the freezer and I ate through all of it. I've got my youngest, I think, is teething. So those are, my frozen banana stash is gone. Okay, so all in all, I think it was like $27 I spent yesterday on like this half with the cream. So I'm just going to say $47 adding in the 2 gallons of raw milk that I got today. So we're at like $130 right now between everything over here. I do have a $200 a week grocery budget. I try and break it up so it's like $100 in pantry, produce, that stuff, and then $100 in protein. So because this week we only had $66, I've got a little bit extra money to spend, which is where all this stuff comes in at. I do try and make a lot of stuff on my own, but you still need ingredients. And I did have a sourdough, an einkorn starter, but I ran out of einkorn grain and I haven't been able to get more. So that's why you'll see like the bread, the yeast, just things I normally am not buying that's in these grocery hauls until I'm able to get that back up and going. Okay, so moving over here, all of this stuff is from Aldi. So we've already got the farmer's market, the local butcher, and the produce stand, and now we're moving on to Aldi. So my boys, I've got 3 kids, 5, 3, and almost 2. He'll be 2 at the beginning of January. And the older 2 are in preschool that we have to bring their lunches. So when I had my sourdough starter, I was doing like sourdough crackers for them, would make their own bread, but that's a thing of the past for right now. So we have this 6 cracker assortment. My husband's work actually sent him a Christmas gift that's got like summer sausage, cheese, different jams and jellies and that kind of stuff. So I bought 2 packages of the crackers instead of 1 because he's probably, as he's working through the sausage and the cheese, going to want some more crackers with that. So I wanted just to think ahead because I don't want him like eating all the food I buy for the kids' lunches or, vice versa. So 2, we don't have to share. That'll work out. My boys are on a huge mac and cheese kick. I want to start making it myself, but I had an Azure standard order pickup that I wasn't able to make it to. So that stuff got sent back to, I don't know where it got sent back to, but I had einkorn pasta in that order, so I was going to start making my own mac and cheese, but I'll just have to wait until next month so I can get those noodles. I like doing einkorn better than just like the regular store-bought noodles because of like the folic acid and all the stuff that the regular wheat is sprayed with. Einkorn isn't. So if you have any kind of like digestive issue, if you think you are gluten sensitive, you should really try einkorn with it being an ancient grain. Your body digests it a lot better, and there's a lot of people who can't eat like white flour products, but they can eat einkorn. So that is something I recommend if you struggle with gluten, which I notice like even just eating, I had a peanut butter sandwich today and my throat always it gets like scratchy. It kind of feels like it's closing, and it's always when I'm eating store-bought bread, and I think it's like a folic acid thing. I read that there's like over 60% of women can't digest folic acid, which can then, there's like a whole other slew of problems and that can turn into. So I think I'm one of those people. It runs in my family. It's the MTHFR, a genetic mutation if you want to get like checked for it. I know a couple people in my family who have tested for it and actually have it. So I've never tested myself, but I kind of want to because I think I would be someone just, I know I am. The way my body reacts to it, I've got something wrong with it. Okay, side note. So I've got some organic cane sugar. I ended up just buying 1. I thought I bought 2, but I ended up just buying 1 because I think this is like almost $6 for 2 pounds. So I will make my own brown sugar. I do my own powdered sugar, and then obviously all of our cooking and whatnot. So we use a lot of sugar in this house. I am trying to go more of like a natural sugar route, so maple syrup and honey. But until I can find recipes that I like for all the things that I make using the honey and the maple syrup, I'm just going to keep doing the organic cane sugar. And so we have some dark chocolate chips over here. That was originally with like banana bread, waffles, pancakes, all that kind of stuff. You know, that'll get used up for sure. We have some vanilla, some ice cream sandwiches. My kids they've just been really sick the past week, and now I think people are starting to get like RSV type symptoms. So my older two were grocery shopping with me, and I let them pick this out as like their special treat for just like getting them through the day, being good. Santa's watching, you can have a dessert, earn, you know, good behavior type thing. So over here, and that was something that's already been broken into. The boys could not wait for that because we got that yesterday, so they had dessert last night with that. We have some organic strawberries. What I've been doing with these is the boys will just eat them as is, or I'll blend them in with my milk kefir smoothie, and so it'll be like a strawberry banana smoothie, and that's really good. The boys will drink that too. If you don't know what kefir is, it's a really like jam-packed probiotic yogurt. Like average yogurt at the store that you buy has about like 6 strands. Kefir, especially if you double ferment it, like a 48-hour ferment, has about like 60 strands. So it's really beneficial for your body. But I will say, they do sell kefir at the store, always go for like the non-flavored one and just mix it with fruit yourself, because the stuff that's flavored has like, you know, natural flavorings, additives, that kind of stuff. But I've noticed a huge difference with my stomach since starting to do like eating more probiotic, prebiotic food rather than taking like supplements. So if you're someone who can't really take probiotic supplements without like your stomach getting upset, definitely try some milk kefir. You can get grains on Etsy. You can just like buy kefir at the store. I think it tastes better when you make it yourself, but I have a biased opinion maybe. But yeah, so try it out. If you want to know more about that, just let me know in the comments below and we can get on a whole discussion about it. Let me tell you. Big kefir fan. So I ran out of olive oil, and the avocado oil was actually on sale for around like $5, and the olive oil was like $7 or $8. So I just got the avocado instead of the olive oil. The main thing that I use this for is when I go to the produce stand, I will buy, or the farmer's market when they had them, but I would buy cherry tomatoes and make my own sun-dried tomatoes. So you basically just cut the tomatoes in half, dry them in the oven. I would put, I think the oven at like 250, and you just bake them on parchment paper with like some salt sprinkled on top for like 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 2.5, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. I think it just depends on how big they are. And so once they've dried out, put them in a mason jar, and then you just fill it up with oil, and that's like your homemade sun-dried tomato. So that's pretty much what I use the oil for. I don't really cook with it. I cook with butter or like tallow or bacon fat. So yeah, that's why I got that instead of olive oil. Moving along, we have these fruit strips. This was something else that the boys wanted. I'll just put these in their lunches, but I did see on Instagram a lady who had like a homemade version of fruit strips, which basically just looked like she took frozen fruit, cooked it down, spread it out, like once it was all blended, spread it out onto parchment paper, and then the same thing what I do with the sun-dried tomatoes, she does it with the fruit strips. So I told my boys that if they want to, after I get done with this video, we're going to make our own fruit strips, and then we're going to do a taste test to see which one tastes better. So I like to cook, my boys like to cook, they like to help me in the kitchen, so that I thought that would be something to kind of lift their spirits and just like a cool little experiment to do, get them, you know, excited to be in the kitchen and cooking. We have sourdough bread. I don't know if I've talked about this or not. It says 3 main ingredients. I know I checked the ingredients before I bought it. Yeah, wheat flour, water, sea salt, sourdough culture. But yeah, I mean, so that's like, you always still, even though when you're buying sourdough bread, still check the ingredients, because I know like Walmart sourdough, at least I haven't looked recently, but before they had a lot of like other additives in there. If it is more than like sourdough starter, flour, water, salt, like you don't need it because they've got other things in it. So just keep an eye out for that with your sourdough. I've got this active dry yeast. We're going to be doing spaghetti one night this week, and I want to make like a garlic bread focaccia with it. So that's why I've got the active dry yeast with that. We've got 2 things of ketchup. Aldi's ketchup is actually really clean. Just organic tomato puree, tomato paste, organic sugar, distilled vinegar, salt, organic onion powder, organic spices. So compared to like Heinz ketchup, it's a lot better. And I think it's like $1.59 where I'm at for it. So it's a really good price too. I always buy 2 just because like I don't like to run out of that stuff, and it's relatively inexpensive just to kind of like stock up when you are buying it. 2 bags of pepperonis. My oldest wants these in his lunches. My middle wants these in his lunches. I guess my youngest likes these too, these summer sausages. My son's preschool teacher actually like stopped me at carpool pickup and was like, "Where do you get your summer sausage?" And I told her Aldi, because I mean, her and I agreed that all the other stores, like the summer sausage is just kind of like slimy and doesn't taste good, but this stuff is like the best quality I've been able to find. It still has like preservatives and additives in it. I do actually have a recipe I want to try for making my own summer sausage, which I'm going to be doing very soon. So I might be stopping buying these. We're not sure yet, but it's basically the summer sausage I found is just ground beef, which I'll be using that stuff with different spices. You let it marinate in the fridge, roll it after the 24 hours of marinating, and then you just like bake it low and slow in the oven for like kind of what you would do with the fruit strips and with the cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. Hopefully my boys will like it. They do tend to be weird when it goes to like store-bought stuff versus homemade. You know, like when you're switching it over, they're used to what they're used to. So like something new, sometimes they don't want to try it, but hopefully they will. So I'll let you guys know how my homemade sausage goes. My son also saw Cheez-Its and wanted some Cheez-Its while we were in the store, and I told him no, but that we would try and make some. So that's why I got some of this cheddar and Gruyere, I don't know. I don't even know if I just said it 2 different ways. That kind of cheese. So I'm going to be doing it with that. And I've got a bunch of other kinds in the fridge. But I figured I would be needing that. I don't have a recipe for it yet, but I know I can find some online. Parmesan cheese, because I always need Parmesan. It seems like we got a thing of this pure Irish butter, and it's made from milk with grass-fed cows. Notice how it says grass-fed, not grass-fed, grass-finished. That means it is grain finished more than likely, which isn't a big deal, but it does like affect the nutritional value of things. Yeah, pasteurized milk, salt. Yeah, so good butter. And I think this was like $3-ish, but we normally buy our butter like at Sam's Club, the Kerrygold, the big one, but I haven't been able to make it to Sam's Club, so we're just gonna do that as we need to. And last but not least, the forever going in my grocery cart, freeze-dried strawberries. We actually had another package of these, but my boys wanted snacks yesterday, so when all 3 want freeze-dried strawberry snacks, one of these bags is like 1 serving for them. Which I think these bags are like $2.50 something, and this is like $6.45, which I know I can get it this style cheaper at Walmart. It's like $5.88 for a 6-pack of them. But just like I wasn't going to go to Walmart just to get like 1 pack of dried strawberries because I can save $1 to put it that way. So pick that up. Got those 2. I normally just get these for my sons when they go to like the workout gym daycare area as a snack, but because everyone's sick, we haven't been going to the gym. Therefore, those are probably just going to stay in the pantry until I need them, because they'll snack on the frozen fruit that I have when we're at home. And I also like to save these for the lunches, because if I put frozen fruit in their lunch boxes, by the time they're actually eating it in the morning, it's like melted fruit. You know how frozen fruit, when it melts, it's like soggy and like doesn't really taste right, which they obviously won't eat that. So I like to do either fresh fruit or dried fruit when I pack their lunches. I didn't get fresh fruit this week. Aldi, the day that I went there, didn't really have a lot to choose from. And then the produce stand, they've got apples, grapes, and like citrus stuff. And my boys don't really eat oranges, like grapefruit, that kind of stuff. They like apples. They'll eat pears. They're more like berry kids. So that's why I normally just buy the frozen fruit. So I just always have that on hand, and then I don't have to worry about it going bad in a week. Quick tip, if that's something that you have to deal with, just freeze your fruit before it goes bad, and then you have it for smoothies, snacking, all that stuff. I think my total at Aldi was like $86, I want to say. I know in total, with everything here, it was about $220 for everything. Now, if you watch my video from last week, I did have a $20 left over, so that's just kind of like going to carry into this. So I'm still on budget for the month. But I'm hoping like the mac and cheese, like some of this stuff will last us. Like the summer sausage, we go through one container of summer sausage a week, so that'll be 2 weeks. The pepperoni, that's 2 weeks, probably more, because they're not really going to school with them being sick. They're still eating lunch, but I'll just like make them food here, if that makes sense. So that's kind of, hopefully my Aldi bill next week won't be as substantial, because I've got a good chunk here. I like to do that sometimes, just kind of stock up when we have space in the pantry and just kind of like refill as we need to. So that is it for today's video. In total, I think I just went over it, but we spent about $220. I'm going to go ahead and get some of the meat put back in the freezer, get the milk put away, you know, go through and sort everything out. But I really appreciate you sticking around this long and listening to all of my rants. If you want anything clarified, if you have any questions of anything that I talked about, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get those answered. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day, and thanks for watching. Bye.